Can you believe it? It's Chuck Comeau from the band, the drummer who 25 years, Chuck. That's incredible just to think how long you guys have been playing.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around it, honestly, even for us. It feels like yesterday, but in some other ways, it feels like we live like 50 years and 25 because it's been so intense and awesome. But yeah, we're just stoked to be here still and to be playing shows and bigger than ever, honestly. This tour is like we're some of the biggest shows we've ever played in our career. So it's pretty cool 25 years down the road to still, kind of hitting new milestones and, having such a great time doing it.
You'll be here at the BMO Pavilion on Thursday this week, right here in Milwaukee. I know you're talking to us from where right now? You're out on tour again.
Yeah, in Denver, we just played last night. Again, it was amazing. 6,000 people. Headline show was incredible. And so just having a day off here, and then we make our way more towards the Midwest. So and then to Milwaukee, we're excited to play. It's been a minute. Actually, yeah, it's we love the shows in Milwaukee. We've played the Rave many, many times. So now we're stepping it up, BMO Pavilion.
I got to ask you guys here, maybe one of the best bands, in my opinion, humbly, to come out of Montreal, Canada. More than 2 decades. When you go into a city, do you remember a lot of the venues? Do you have Milwaukee stories, or is it all a blur to some extent?
It's amazing doing this documentary. Like we went back in the archives and we found these tapes, and I was watching. I was like, I don't remember doing this or saying this or being in that whatever place. But honestly, I not the biggest like cliche rock star. I don't drink, I don't do drugs. So I have a really clear memory of almost everything. So I've been sort of the one kind of working on the project because I'm like, I remember I have a pretty clear, like picture. Like I can still remember some shows from like 2002, 2003, some moments, especially like just visiting the cities as well. That's one of the highlights, being on tour, not just staying in your dressing room, but actually going out and trying restaurants, going to see places, just getting out there.
I'm sure your signatures,
make the best out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure your signature's on the haunted pool down there in the Rave here
Oh
in
yeah,
Milwaukee.
we have been there. Yes, we even performed perfect there. Just acoustically, it sounds incredible. That reverb, natural
Really?
reverb, it's amazing.
I didn't know they let people to perform down there, so that's that's awesome. Let's talk about this documentary. Congratulations! Just incredible to put your life story into one piece of work on video. I was really amazed at how much video you guys had. Who was shooting all that video? How hard was it to find some of this stuff and put it all together?
Yeah, we had this intuition that I don't know why, because we were not signed, we had nothing going on, but we just felt like we had to film everything. And our best friend from school was just hanging out with us, and we told him like, "Hey, you have a camera? Why don't you just start filming everything?" And he was our first employee. He came on the road with us. His name was Patrick, and he was everywhere, and he had his camera all the time. So when we were making our first record in our basement practicing, before we were even have done any official shows, we were just documenting everything. So going through all of this, I think that's what makes this film so special, is the amount of archival footage that we were able to find. I think we had like something like 1,500 hours of DV tapes that we transferred. So sorting through that was quite a lot of work, but I think it was really worth it because it's pretty rare you can put the whole story, on with images on film. Like usually people will talk and you don't see it. Well, when we're telling the story, you see it, which is pretty cool.
I learned so much from the documentary. I was able to watch it over the weekend. So many interesting stories in there about how your band was created, which really was just a group of friends from high school, and somehow you've stuck it out this long, especially with Pierre. You guys, I know, were in a band up in Canada. Didn't speak for 2 years after a classic high school fight over like, man, we should kick this guy out of the band. But then you got back together. I'm just thinking, I got into a fight with my good friend Ryan Wyke after I went to camp for like a week with him because we spent too much time in a car together. You have spent 25 years in the same bus with these guys.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing on friendship. It definitely puts a lot of pressure because you're, like you said, you're living in close quarters. You're always together. You're staying in the same hotel. You're sleeping on the bus, like literally like a few inches from each other. You're playing shows. You have to get on stage every night. So it does, it does more for change the friendship, and that's kind of what the movie is about. Like even if you don't care about the band per se, Simple Plan, I think you can. It's a movie about like resilience, not giving up, about friendship, about how to compromise communication. How do you keep a friendship going for 30 years, with all the ups and downs? So yeah, it's been really it's been tough making the movie because it's hard to summarize 30 years and all the complexities of it into an hour and a half. But I think we were able to sort of capture the essence of why we're still here because at the end of it all, we formed because we were friends, not because he was the best guitar player or the best singer or whatever, just because we were friends that wanted to make music together.
One thing I
And we
took
want
away
people to
with
hear that.
watching the documentary, the power that one person can have to change your life. And for you, it was one guy who was a music executive that your friend was able to somehow get to Montreal that you guys were able to play in front of, that you brought all your friends out to. But one person really changed the trajectory
Yeah.
of your band in your life.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like when you reflect on like why you're successful, obviously there's hard work and there's a little bit of talent in there, but there's a lot of it is just luck and finding the right person that believes in you. And so we would cold call all these labels. I would pretend I was a manager, like literally like, hey, I'm Chuck Talbot, like my mother's name, and I have this great band in Montreal. You have to hear them. They're called Simple Plan. And this guy, Andy Karp in New York at Atlantic Records, picked up the phone and he's like, I just listened to the demo. I love you guys. I want to see you guys live. And a year and a half later, after playing for him and many times sending him more songs, he ended up signing the band and changed our lives. And yeah, it was that one person that believed in the music, believed in us, and saw something.
You could say the rest is history, but that really wasn't the story. I didn't realize this. I mean, one of the first big shows I went to in 2002 when I was in high school was the Warp Tour. And watching your documentary, I didn't realize the kind of abuse that you guys took out on the Warp Tour when you guys first started. I thought that was so interesting. People, there was this dynamic, I guess, as the music was changing a little bit, that people thought maybe you were too soft or not hardcore enough, and people would throw bottles at you up on stage, including some filled with like human piss up on the stage.
Yeah, it was tough out there. Warp Tour was like, like it was kind of like the punk rock institution, right? And back in the day, back in the early 2000s, it wasn't like it is right now. Like right now, people are open to all kinds of music, and you can listen to a punk rock band and then a pop artist, and it doesn't really matter. But back then, there was a lot of big walls in between music styles, and even within the same community, if you were not hard enough or if you were not considered punk enough, people would there would be a backlash, and we definitely were on on the end of that, on the bottom of that. Like we got a lot of people that felt like, oh, the band is too commercial, too successful. It's on MTV and on radio, and you don't belong here. But we grew up with this kind of music, and we really felt like this is our scene, this is our home, and it was important for us to just be resilient and keep playing and show them like you're not going to discourage us. We're going to keep going. And I think that's the spirit of the whole band, and that's the spirit of the whole movie. When you watch it, it's just like being resilient and just wanting to chase that dream and not giving up. So yeah, we did get bottles. We did get a lot of people I think there's a little bit of PTSD in there, but I think it made us a better band because it made us play harder. It made us like try harder,
Well, and also you shifted kind of the music that people listen to as well, because that music wasn't on the radio. You guys put it well, and suddenly it was, and people could hear it. And it seemed like bands like yours, and obviously Blink-182, and New Found Glory, who was on the Warp Tour, suddenly it seemed like your experience got better each year. I mean, you didn't quit the Warp Tour, even though you're going through this abuse at sometimes.
It's amazing. We actually just played it this year. It's back now, and it was bigger than ever. And it's funny, like this whole scene in the early 2000s. It was amazing. It just got this wave. Like Blink started it all. Green Day before them, maybe Offspring, then Blink, and then all this wave of new school bands like us and All American Rejects and Good Charlotte, Sum 41, and all that. There was just like this momentum, and it was all over MTV, like you said, and radio, and it was so exciting. The shows were massive, and then what's funny is, fast forward to now, 25 years later, there's like this resurgence of this style of music. It's never been more popular, it feels like. I mean, it's all over because of TikTok, probably, and this new generation of kids that were not even born back when we came out are discovering it, and they're calling it classic rock, which blows my mind, honestly.
That hurts, actually, to hear
a classic rock band. But it's amazing. The shows are bigger than ever. Warp Tour is back. When we were young in Las Vegas, does like 90,000 kids a night. So it's this really special moment that we're all like enjoying 25 years later. You get to play the biggest shows of your career. You get to have new fans. Our fans are having kids. The kids are fans. The old school fans are coming back. It's really exciting.
I wanted to ask you about this because it was touched on a little bit in the documentary, but I was hoping it would be touched on more because as we've all grown older, kind of with music, like what Simple Plan produces, I mean, now, as you just said, we're all having kids, and you guys, you're a father yourself. I'm just wondering
Hmm.
what the lifestyle is like now, how tough it is, because our priorities changed through the years. And obviously,
Yeah.
you're a different band than you were back in 2002, but with kids, how tough is that?
Yeah, it's that's the big game changer for us. I mean, kind of luckily we all have kids. We're all dads now. So at least we're on the same page with that. Like we all agree that this is a huge priority for us. So we don't tour the same way. Like we used to leave for like 2, 3 months, 4 months at a time. We couldn't wait to get back on tour. Now it's a little different. We're still, I think, really we feel very lucky and privileged that we can still do this, but there is something that makes it harder to go on the road. For me, myself, I try to bring my family with me. So they came to Australia last year. They were in Japan a few times. Like I bring them on the road. They were like we played Madison Square Garden. We brought them up for that. I mean, that was so it's like trying to make it work for you, like trying to use these amazing things that we get to do and make sure that your family gets to enjoy it with you. But there are some times where you miss hockey tournaments, you miss like the birthdays, like these special moments. So it is a bit heartbreaking sometimes. But at the same time, when you're home and we can be like month like we're a month off. I'm driving into school every day picking him up. It's like full time. So I think in the end it kind of evens out.
Yeah, I just know that you guys are all dads, which is what surprised me when I looked at your tour schedule. I'm like, this is a world tour again. I mean, you guys are still
Yeah.
going out there. What's the motivation now?
You know what? That's a good question. I think a lot of it has to do with our kids. We don't want them to look at their dads and think like, oh yeah, my dad, like he used to be in a band. They used to be somewhat
He used to be
successful. Like I never
cool.
really saw them live, but I heard, like I saw it on video. Like we want them to experience it. We want them to kind of like have a chance to see the band at its peak, and which I think is kind of amazingly happening now 25 years later. So I think that's a big motivation for everybody. We don't want them to look at us as like, oh, like this has been band that used to be popular. We want them to think like, wow, man, my dad is doing really cool stuff. So that's really motivating. And I think just the legacy of the band as well. That's why we made the documentary. That's why we're still out there making new music as well, because the past is amazing, but we also still want to be creative, still be like kind of challenging ourselves to get to we're still trying to write the best Simple Plan song, at the end of the day. So I think that's exciting. That keeps me going and see how high we can go, like what new heights we can reach with this band, which is exciting and motivating.
You said it, this kind of music seems like it's having a comeback all of a sudden. It just seems like all the bands that I listened to at the Warped Tour in 2002 are suddenly back together. And you guys are all making new music. What is Simple Plan doing? I know you guys have a new song out. You guys are making new music.
Yeah, we just put out this song that goes along with the movie. It's called Nothing Changes. So it just came out about a few weeks ago. So that was really exciting too. Like kind of watching the movie, like doing the whole process was like, okay, like we want to write about all this. We want to write about the last 25 years and how it's been. So that song came out and in a way, the whole idea is like, everything's changed, but nothing's changed at all. We're still out here chasing our dream, being passionate about music. Like even though we're way different people than we were. But yeah, like I think we want to make a new record next year as well. We want to keep going. I think that's important not to fall into the nostalgia act and just like we love playing I'm Just a Kid. We love playing Welcome to My Life. We love playing all these songs that people connected with that meant a lot to a lot of people. But at the same time, we know that our fans they still crave new music from us. They still want to hear new songs. So, and they don't go grab a beer when we play a new song live. You know what I mean? It's like we're not that kind of band yet, and I think we don't want to ever become that.
Chuck, I can't wait to see you guys in Milwaukee on Thursday. I don't know if you've ever played the BMO Pavilion. I think it's the most beautiful venue we have here in Milwaukee because the backdrop's Lake Michigan. It's an unbelievable spot, so I think you're going to love it. I can't think if you've ever played Summerfest or the Warped Tour used to come through. I think Milwaukee would play like the Summerfest grounds, but I'm not sure if you've.
Yeah, I think we play. Yeah, like I remember playing by that. There's a museum right next to it, and there's
Uh-huh.
like a big like overpass. So that's where Warped Tour used to be. But we've never played BMO Pavilion. But I have been to a show last year. I think it was the Rejects played there or something, and I went to see it. And I remember thinking like we have to play there. It's such a beautiful little amphitheater, and it's right in the middle of the city. And it was perfect. So I'm excited that we get a chance to play it. So I look forward to seeing you there.
Big congratulations on the new documentary. It was great. It was eye-opening, and maybe a how-to if you ever want to make it as a band, because it's not easy. And a big part of that's what you do, Chuck. I know you're the drummer, but a lot of ways you are the mind behind things. You were the guy calling up, as you said, the managers, faking names, and opening doors. And we appreciate you did it, because what a band you have been the last 25 years. Thanks for being here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.